It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com. And anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Google, Spotify, search for the KABC News Blitz. Give us a subscribe. It's time for a little homeless roundup. There's a lot of crazy homeless stories going on in the entire state of California. This is not a unique Los Angeles problem, but the weirdest ones always come out of Los Angeles County, which brings us to the City of Industry, where homeless squatters took over a lot full of unsold RVs from a high-end RV dealer. I don't know how this just isn't criminal trespassing when you're taking over property that's not yours, but hey, anything goes in California these days. What the hell is going on in the City of Industry? Let's find out. Here is KCAL.
We begin with one of the most bizarre homeless encampments we've ever seen.
And you know that's saying something, because if you've covered news in Los Angeles for as long as I have or they have, you think you've heard it all.
Dozens of people have broken into and moved into a storage yard full of brand new luxury RVs.
The lot is in the
How is that lot not protected?
The lot is in the City of Industry near the corner of Gale and Azusa Avenues. Tonight, KCAL's Lori Perez joins us live with this story. Lori.
Well, Susie and Juan, you're right. We have seen encampments all across LA County, but this is one of the most astounding. What we saw today was a busy and active community of people living in a parking lot full of RVs that do not belong to them.
We're just going to create our own city full of stolen RVs. How is this even allowed? Why isn't this county doing something about this? Why isn't the city doing something about this? And the people who own this, the RV dealer, can they not do anything about a whole bunch of people living in their unsold RVs? This isn't like a bunch of derelict RVs in some abandoned RV park. These things are for sale.
SkyCal video of the lot near the corner of Gale and Azusa Avenues in City of Industry shows dozens of RVs with people appearing to live in them. Outdoor furniture.
I mean, we don't want an idea like this to spread. You want to see a whole bunch of people think that we're going to go to Mike Thompson's RV off the 605 and break in.
With people appearing to live in them. Outdoor furniture and belongings in the yards like any neighborhood. Except this isn't a neighborhood.
I love how they're not even being, sly about it. They're not even being subtle about it. They're bringing in their own blight outdoor furniture. They're moving in because who exactly is going to move them out?
It's the storage lot of a company called Black Series RV. And this is their overflow stock of luxury campers that sell for 40 to 100 grand.
I guess they're not selling that many if they've got a whole lot just for the overstock.
And this is...
But these are expensive recreational vehicles.
And this is their...
Although, interesting fun point. What, the high-end one is $100,000? That's probably got more amenities than your permanent supportive housing unit that the city of Los Angeles is building for 800 grand.
And this is their overflow stock of luxury campers that sell for 40 to 100 grand.
We've noticed that several of the trailers have been burning.
Why? Again, they took over, they moved in, and what moves in when the homeless move in? Blight and fires. You can't be subtle when you're homeless. You've got to cause a ruckus.
There's, like I said, there's homeless here. Probably sometimes late at night, they're coming in and out.
Workers like Marilyn Martinez, who works nearby, say a city of squatters started taking over months ago.
How does this work? Does it start with one and people get the idea and it trickle in? Or is there some kind of organization going on here? Because we know how many organizations thrive off of exacerbating the homeless problem. Are they like, hey, get on down here, this park of RVs. Let's take it over. Let's commandeer it.
Squatters started taking over months ago. Massive piles of trash and debris piling up. The RV company said
months ago, if they're calling this squatters, this could be a problem because If you are declaring this your residence and you've been there for more than 30 days, well, now you get squatters' rights, which means that the people who own this lot are going to have to evict them, which is a long court proceeding. This seems like a nightmare.
The RV company says trespassers are now living in at least 50 of their campers. They tried using security teams to retrieve them, but say the few they recovered were trashed. Other times they gave up.
So the ones that they got back from the homeless were utterly destroyed. Are you kidding right now?
Fearing for their safety. Martinez says
the security people are afraid to go in there. But at one point, I'm very confused how this isn't criminal trespassing. How do we not get the sheriff's department in there right now? Where's Mr. Hawkman?
Martinez says she and her coworkers walk in pairs to their cars.
Sometimes it is kind of dark. We do have to cross over here, and it's like we have to be watching our backs, especially as girls.
The city gave us a statement saying the city does not own the site. This is a private trespass dispute between the property owners and a private party.
So because it's a private lot, all they can do is litigate? There's no criminal charges for trespassing on private property? I am so confused.
The city is working with the property owners in helping to coordinate cleanup efforts at the site. And
how about get the people out of there? Those aren't their RVs. That's stealing property, very expensive property.
And County Supervisor Hilda Solis told us the County of Los Angeles does not have jurisdiction.
Here we go. This is what happens no matter when you have a crazy scenario in the county of Los Angeles, in the city of Los Angeles, you have jurisdictional football. Well, it's not my problem, says the city of industry. It's the owner's problem. The county says it's not our problem. It's the city's problem. Nobody wants to take responsibility for the mess.
And County Supervisor Hilda Solis told us the County of Los Angeles does not have jurisdiction over land use matters in incorporated cities like City of Industry. But my office has been proactive in addressing concerns at the lot.
You mean like the fires and the violence and the fear and the blight, the outdoor furniture?
Her office says they've sent out.
Nothing says trashy like a chaise outside of a stolen RV.
Her office says they've sent outreach workers and alcohol and drug abuse teams to the site.
Of course. We need to help these people. Forget that they broke the law. Forget that they're stealing property. They're stealing RVs. None of that matters because these people are in need. And equity means that we don't go after the poor and the indigent, even when they're committing crimes.
But Raymond Henderson, who says he lives in one of the RVs, says what you see here is desperation. And many moved into the campers only after they had been broken into by others and seemed to be abandoned by the RV company.
So does the RV company just not care that a whole bunch of their property has been stolen and commandeered? What is going on here? Are they throwing their hands up?
And seem to be abandoned by the RV company.
They had homeless people come in here. They give you a piece of paper and tell you to call these numbers. That they already know that shelters is already full. Now they about to kick out a lot of people that don't really have nowhere to go. So you're going to be seeing.
So of course the only thing they can do is steal a whole bunch of RVs in the city of industry. What kind of world are we living in here?
So you're going to be seeing them on every bus stop, every street corner. You're going to be seeing these people. It sucks.
So if we don't want to see them at the bus stop, we have to let them take over the RV lot. I mean, does the owner get a say in this?
Now, Black Series RV is now working through the court system to get possession of the site and to legally remove anyone who is there. Of course, they won't be able to.
This is going through the eviction process. This is how ass backwards some of our state laws are. In our never-ending effort to protect tenants, we have created so many loopholes where squatters can break into a private lot full of recreational vehicles, declare it their domicile, and if they're there for 30 days, now they get squatters' rights. And now it's going to take a year to get them out of there. How does any of this make any sense? How does this company stay in business, let alone stay in the county of Los Angeles?
Of course, they won't be able to sell those RVs.
No. I guess you write it off as a giant loss on your taxes here?
They are working with companies, however, that might try to refurbish or salvage them and resell them themselves. We are live in City of Industry. I'm Lori Perez. Back to you.
All right, Lori, thank you so much.
I feel like we're going to get a lot more about that story because that's the most insane homeless story that I've heard in a while. And I've heard some whoppers lately. And in fact, when I originally was going to do a homeless roundup of the crazy homeless stories in the state, I was sure that nothing was going to top what's going on in Sacramento, where they're cave dwellers now. For more, here's CBS Sacramento.
Now at 5:30, a CBS 13 exclusive, a cave discovered along the American River with concerns people are living inside.
They're living in caves.
Thanks for staying with us here at 5:30. I'm Tony Lopez.
And I'm Hunter Sowards, a CBS 13 viewer sending us a tip about this latest cave system after seeing our initial reporting on similar homeless caves built in Modesto.
Let's show you the area we're talking about in Sacramento. It's the Upper Sunrise area near the...
Boy, think of the conditions that people have to put themselves through to not get off of meth.
On similar homeless caves built in Modesto.
Let's show you the area we're talking about in Sacramento. It's the Upper Sunrise area near the Fish Hatchery, just across from Sailor Bar.
I'm so done with this is all the cost of living. If it's the cost of living, move to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Cost of living is real cheap.
Your reporter covering Sacramento County, Tori Apodaca, is getting us answers on the discovery in a CBS 13 exclusive.
Up here along the bike path, you can't see the cave that's located about 20 feet down below. It practically looks like someone could have taken a stick of dynamite to it. That or done a whole lot of digging. Well, we're learning maybe someone did.
Now, I only know this because I watch Breaking Bad, which I think gives me an excellent case study in what people on meth do. And they told me in that show that one of the things that people who are high on meth have to do, they're compelled to do it, is dig holes. Well, apparently now they're digging caves.
A huge hole in the hillside.
Great alliteration. I'm so proud.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
It's what Albert McCoy spotted from across the way while at Sailor Bar Sunday.
I was watching the little, mom and the baby ducks doing their thing, and then I seen a man disappear into a hole in the riverbank.
He captured these photos of what appears to be homeless men popping in and out of the somewhat camouflaged cave along the American River Parkway.
Now, do each of them have a corner of the cave? Or are they all shacking up together at the cave? Is this some meetup spot on Grindr? What the hell is going on?
And then when the other guy came out about 45 minutes later, he was yawning like he just woke up and came out and did his business right there on the riverbank.
Of course. How do the environmentalists in California feel about this?
He called CBS 13 in to investigate after seeing our coverage of the hidden homeless caves along the Tuolumne River in Modesto.
Oh, yeah. This isn't the first time there have been homeless caves. And unfortunately, what ends up happening is now you have to report on stories like this because they're outrageous. But some people look at a story like this and they start thinking, cave living, that sounds pretty great.
Seeing your previous story kind of brought it on my radar.
Just a few steps from the rushing water. This is a full-blown tunnel.
This is serious business here, yes.
We saw the massive cave opening for ourselves. I'm about 5'6", but you can see that it is well over my head, probably over 6 feet in height and about 40 feet deep. I mean, we are practically inside a tunnel at this point. From the outside, you can see it towering over me. We asked Sacramento County about this, and within an hour, we saw some action. We watched park rangers climb down the hillside, but we had to direct them to the cave from across the water.
Thank goodness for local news. There are so many things that would not get unearthed if it wasn't just fantastic television.
Sacramento County tells me its park rangers have known about this cave, and it was likely created from mining many, many years ago, possibly even before the parkway existed.
So we're talking about an old prospecting cave from the 1860s.
The county couldn't tell me why the cave was never filled in, but said it will be increasing patrols.
And if the river rises, looks like about 5 feet, it's going to flood into that tunnel in that space.
Well, of course. That's what happens with caves that are along a river. That's why it's unsafe. But Methy don't care.
And then who knows what could happen then.
A hole appearing to be used by the homeless, hidden in plain sight. A spokesperson with Sacramento County tells me that the cave is located technically on state land. The county just has day-to-day jurisdiction over it, and it says that it's never had any issues here in the past.
Once again, another aspect of so many homeless stories. Whose job is it to take care of this? Because people should not be living in a cave along the river. Sound like I'm Chris Farley's character, Matt Foley.
But now it is investigating.
All right, Tori, thank you. And again, a viewer actually reached out to Tori about this story. So a reminder for you, if you've got a tip or a story idea for her, you can email her at tips@cbs13.com.
It's definitely something every resident of the state of California should think about. If you've got a homeless problem, it doesn't matter how small, it doesn't matter how big, and the city and the county are not responding to you, call the local news, send in a tip, get them to shame the electeds, and maybe something will get done about it. That's what needs to go on right now in the city of Stockton, where the homeless have taken over a site right outside a hotel. And what do you know? When there's a giant homeless encampment outside a hotel, nobody wants to stay there. Here's ABC 10 in Sacramento.
First at 5, a hotel manager in Stockton is pleading for help tonight. They say a nearby homeless camp on state property has led to a more than $1 million drop in business. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has the story.
Just for a second, don't worry about, why are people traveling to Stockton anyway? Let's figure out why this homeless encampment is destroying their business.
In a business based on occupancy,
we're losing our guests.
Shelley Stapleton has a big problem. She's the manager of the La Quinta Inn off March Lane and I-5.
Over the last, I think it's 3 years, our decline is well over $1 million. Guests aren't booking because they see the reviews.
Yeah. As soon as you see the review of an apartment or a hotel and it says there's a homeless encampment outside, you're going somewhere else. Go look up Yelp reviews of the hotels that are in the Tenderloin in San Francisco. Oh, my goodness.
Checking out as they pull in.
As they pull in and see this.
There's been a huge rise in the homeless encampments along this I-5 corridor here at March Lane. These encampments, we see drugs. There's been times I've thought people were dead. Countless graffiti.
They probably were.
Countless graffiti. We've had domestic violence issues.
Violence, drugs, fire, murder. It's got it all. It's almost a tourist attraction, except now the tourists don't want to go.
The encampment doesn't just run alongside Interstate 5. It also goes underneath it. If you look at this busy underpass here near March Lane, there are burn marks. Officials here at the hotel say they also are concerned about homeless starting fires.
Yes, because that's what they do. What was it in 2024? Like 30,000 fires?
Just last week,
maybe it was 3,000.
Just last week, I had a gentleman that was midday just trying to start a fire in my stairwell.
Now she's trying to light a fire under the feet of public officials.
Okay, so the city won't do anything about homeless encampment. You're just trying to run your business, and the homeless try to start a fire in your hotel. That's outside of all the other things, outside of the smell, outside of the blight and the danger of violence and the drugs on the streets and the harm to our environment when all of the rain washes all of the dookie into the ocean. The number one concern should be that we are allowing people who love to start fires to just sit out on the street and start fires.
Midday, just trying to start a fire in my stairwell.
Now she's trying to light a fire under the feet of public officials.
Hi there. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council.
Speaking out at a city council meeting and reaching out to state leaders.
We need help.
And of course, that didn't do anything because she needed to go to the local news.
We need help.
We are listening.
Mario Enriquez represents the area on city council. He says while the city can't do anything about the encampment, Caltrans can.
Why? Oh, here we go. What do you know? It's like a recurring theme in all these stories. Jurisdictional football.
Caltrans can.
We are already reaching out to Caltrans. We're working with them. And again, to be able...
I don't care if it's city property, county property, Caltrans property, state property, federal property. Nobody should be allowed to be destroying a business like this. There's plenty of illegal activity in there. Get rid of it.
And again, to be able to find the best solutions possible.
Caltrans didn't respond to a request for comment.
Caltrans does come in. They'll clean this exit out. And then when they go clean the next exit, everybody relocates.
Shelley's hoping for a long-term solution before more guests check out permanently.
We're having to lay people off or remove them from the schedule. That's not sustainable long-term.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
That hotel's going to go out of business.
The hotel manager plans to speak at the County Board of Supervisors meeting next week. Meanwhile, the mayor says she is aware of the problem and her staff is now working with Caltrans to try and address the concerns.
How about you get all those people out of there? How about if they're doing drugs, you put them in jail? This used to not be so complicated. Now, I don't know if you've noticed a specific tone with me whenever I cover these homeless stories. I think I'm done. I think I've lost all compassion for the homeless. I don't think I have any left. I want these people out. If you have lost all your compassion for the homeless in the state of California, I'd love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The homeless have taken over an RV storage lot in the city of Industry, stealing and squatting in luxury RVs, and apparently nobody can do anything about it. Have you lost all of your compassion for the homeless? I'd love to hear from you. 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. We'll take your calls, and believe it or not, there's already an update to that story in the city of Industry. We'll get to that next. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It is the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. We're here every single day from 5 to 6 talking about the local issues that matter to you most and taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Your emails as well at randykabc@gmail.com, and search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts. We're taking your phone calls at 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Homeless squatters took over a luxury RV dealer's backup lot and commandeered and squatted in a bunch of RVs, and apparently we can't get them out of there. I have an update on that, but first I want to know, have you lost all your compassion for the homeless? Let's go to Mike in Glendale. Mike, hello.
Yeah, hi. And I'm tired of the homeless. I work as an armed guard on Fairfax, a couple of blocks away from the Grove, and all the homeless there can't stand me because I don't let them hang out, sit down, squat, have a moment of peace in front of the building I'm guarding. We have a pathway in the alley. We had, over the weekend while we were gone, a homeless had set up an encampment there. The second I came in Monday, first thing I did is I tore that down, had maintenance, building maintenance, clean up the trash, push it on down the alley, and I had the neighbors that are across the way that live in the apartments come over and thank me because they couldn't get out of their driveway all weekend because they had called the city and nobody came out to do anything. I've had other homeless people laying down on Fairfax. I wake them up to move them along. I've had people in their cars driving yell at me and tell me, hey, leave him alone. He's a human being. All right, no problem. I yell back at them, fine, take them home with you if you're that concerned about them. They just roll up their window and keep driving. I frequently tell them to consider suicide. I love it when I come out of a grocery store or a 7-Eleven and they ask me, do you have any spare change? I just pat my pocket and say, yes, I do. Thanks for asking. And I keep walking. I have zero sympathy for these mutts.
Well, Mike, it sounds like you're doing a hell of a job protecting the building that you're tasked to protect, and I'm glad that you're acting and not waiting for the city and the county to do absolutely nothing about that kind of problem. Thanks so much for the call, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
800-222-KABC is the phone number. Well, we started this hour talking about the squatters that took over that RV lot in the city of Industry at a luxury RV dealership. What do you know? There's an update. Let's go to KCAL.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Harvey.
And I'm Juan Fernandez. New fires tonight in an RV storage lot that's been taken over by squatters in the city of Industry.
It's almost like these stories write themselves. It is the literal definition of a ticking time bomb. You let people squat in RVs, and a fire's going to happen.
As crime mounts and trash continues to pile up, there's growing frustration over that encampment.
Property owners of that lot on Gale Avenue near Azusa are ready to take action as early as tomorrow.
And KCAL's Jasmine Veal spoke to some of the people living in the RVs after they were told to get out.
Did they get out?
Tuesday afternoon, smoke and flames pouring from one of the RVs that people have been squatting in on this storage lot in the City of Industry.
Are you surprised?
Second row, second trailer.
Stephen Earhart is one of dozens of people who's been living in the RVs.
Probably about 2 months.
But they were told by the property owners to be out by April 1st.
Why are we giving them any kind of timeline? The squatters' rights in this state are absolutely insane.
Pretty real that we got to get out of here.
I was so irritated, I used a word that I almost never use. You know which one.
Pretty real that we got to get out of here.
Many of these trailers that once retailed...
That guy sounds like he's on meth.
Pretty real that we got to get out of here.
Many of these trailers that once retailed for at least $50,000 each...
How much destruction has this one group caused? Millions of dollars?
Are now either damaged or destroyed and surrounded by piles of human waste and trash on the corner of Gale and Azusa Avenues. It's gotten so out of hand, this man says another man squatting on the property has even been charging him and others rent.
So it's a full-on lawless criminal activity enterprise going on here. Nothing to see here. Nothing anyone can do about it. It's private land.
To live in the trailers.
$600.
$600 you've given him?
Mm-hmm. No water, no electricity, no nothing.
These trailers belong to...
How does this happen? Who gets these people in there?
These trailers belong to Black Series RV, a local company based in Upland. They say they tried using security teams to keep out the trespassers, but over the last few months, it became too dangerous. They were outnumbered by the squatters.
So at what point can we call law enforcement if now the lives of the security guards are being threatened?
The company says it's been difficult, but they have towed away some of the RVs to salvage.
This is out of hand. With 8 months, it went bad. We had control of it before and then got out of hand.
But Ed Ramirez, who works for the property owner, says they, not the RV company, took matters into their own hands to clear out this encampment when people started breaking into their warehouses, cars, and electrical boxes.
Yes, because of course the squatters don't keep to themselves. They got to destroy everything around them because math.
On the property owner to clean up their mess cost them thousands and thousands of dollars.
The property owners plan to have dumpsters come out here on Wednesday to clean up all these mounds of trash. They say they have already given out eviction notices to the squatters living inside about 50 to 60 of these RVs, and that they have the paperwork that gives the property owners ownership of these RVs.
Because the squatters don't own them. They stole them.
To take them away and destroy them.
Once the sheriffs get everything, the last few things we need in order, coming here to evict everybody.
Ramirez says many of the squatters refused their efforts to relocate them. The city says this is a private dispute between the property owners and the company.
No, it's not a private dispute. The city doesn't want to do anything about it. The county doesn't want to do anything about it.
But that they are working with them to clean up this lot for good. In the City of Industry, Jasmine Veal, KCAL News.
Something tells me this isn't going to be done by April 1st, and we'll be talking about this story for a while. We've seen how these things go. Let's go to Marvin in Dana Point. Marvin, hello.
Hey, don't know who that guy was on the radio, but he needs to run for governor because he's got my vote.
I think there has become quite appreciation of taking matters into their own hands because the city and the county and the state can't do anything about these problems.
Well, didn't Gavin have a whole bunch of money to solve the homeless crisis he didn't solve?
Yes, he has spent $25 billion over the last 5 years and can't even tell us where that money went.
Okay, use fractal mapping, find every penny, and bring everybody that took that money improperly into court, seize their everything, and solve this by going after the guys that prevented us from solving it in the first place by stealing all the money.
I think you make a really good point. Thanks for the call, Marvin. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. 1-800-222-5222. Are you surprised that the City of Industry in the County of Los Angeles doesn't want to do anything about the homeless squatters that commandeered an RV lot? 800-222-KABC. 1-800-222-5222. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on Talk Radio 790 KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Let's go back to the phones and go to Rose in Marina. Rose, hello.
Oh, hey, Randy. Let me tell you, I have no sympathy for the homeless. Not that I never did, but I'll tell you what really bothers me more is our politicians, because that situation with the RVs has been going on for so long. And if you and John want to reach out to Tracy Park, she has been dealing with that issue since she got in office because it emanated from the Bologna wetlands when we had at least 50 of them on Jefferson Boulevard there. And those RV people destroyed that area. They've damaged, according to what friends of Bologna have told me, they've caused 50 years with the damage to that area. And many of them were renting those RVs from a landlord. In fact, there was one guy that had an RV down there. He got housing from LASA. He took the voucher. He subleased the apartment LASA got from him to another person and went back and lived in an RV down there. And
I am not surprised at all.
No, it was serious. I mean, there was a guy who actually had the cashews to go on TV and was so proud of himself that he was renting out so many RVs on, is it Universal Drive over there behind Universal, or is it Lake something, Lancashire Drive? That he made $8,000 to $9,000 a month. And the city council has done nothing to close up that loophole because RVs are not vehicles under the vehicle code. And
no, you're right. They're
surprised.
considered dwellings, and it's insane the amount of energy that has to go to getting rid of them.
And exactly, and it's just that thing over there in City of Industry. It doesn't surprise me at all that there were people that were paying somebody to live in those things, because it happened on that street behind Universal to the point where the guy was making $8,000 to $9,000 a month. I mean, listen, the homeless are just get me so frustrated, but our politicians, man, Randy, you're young, you have a wonderful wife, you have your pets, make plans to go to another state. I mean, honestly. I
think about it every day, Rose. Every day I'm on Zillow looking at Santa Fe and looking if I could actually move there.
I love Santa Fe. You know what? Learn to snowboard. They've got those little mountains there. That's fun as heck. The outdoors are beautiful. This place is never going to change. Honestly, it's not. It gets worse and worse and worse. And the city council is getting more socialist than ever, and nothing is ever going to get done to get it better. I'm sorry to say that and be so defeatist, but this whole RV thing is just the city council, the board of supervisors. What do they do all day?
That's a really good question. And I totally understand your sentiment, Rose, and you have every right to feel that way. Maybe I'm naive. God. Maybe I think that in 2026, there's got to be a change. Out of the failures that have happened, the destruction of this city, the people in charge have got to pay. We've got to get new leadership. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't. But we're going to try to expose the idiocy every day right here to push people in the correct direction. Thanks so much for the call, Rose. Always appreciate hearing from you. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. When I come back, I'm going to tell you exactly what Rose was talking about. The whole landlord loophole nonsense that's been going in the city and the county of Los Angeles for years now. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC. Here's the whole thing with the landlords and the RVs that have taken over lots of places in Los Angeles City and Los Angeles County. You have a derelict, undrivable, disgusting RV. It is being occupied by somebody on a street where they're not supposed to be. We have our parking department not allowed to ticket them. If they were allowed to ticket them, eventually after 5 tickets, they could tow it. Let's say you can actually tow the derelict RV because it's blocking a road, it's not safe, all the other issues. Then it goes to the police department. And because it is a dwelling, because it is more value than $500, the police can't just crush it into a cube. So they have to keep it on their lot and go through the lien process. Well, no one's going to claim the damn thing because it's a derelict RV, and the police cannot crush it into a cube. So what do the police have to do? To get it off their lot, they have to auction it. And they got to auction it for the lowest price possible so they can get rid of it. And so they auction it, and it usually sells for $50. That's where the van lords come in. They go to these police auctions. They buy all the derelict RVs that got towed for $50 each, rent them out for $500 a month, and the process just starts over and over and over and over and over again. And any of the homeless that are getting general assistance, Social Security benefits, or anything, they've got $500 a month to pay to live in one of these RVs. And sure, it's deplorable conditions, but we're allowing it. We're allowing this fourth world country nonsense, whether it's in the city of Los Angeles, the Bologna wetlands, or at the luxury RV lot in the city of Industry. And I don't know if it's getting any better anytime soon, but we'll be following that city of Industry story because that is just so unbelievably outrageous. Although it seems like there's a level of apathy, even just on the property owner. Like they're barely doing anything about it. But we'll continue to follow it. Thank you all so much for listening to this show and being a part of it, calling in, emailing. I always appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning into KABC. We're so glad to have you every single day. If you haven't ever downloaded the podcast of the show, maybe you want to listen to one of the older episodes, go to KABC.com/NewsBlitz, search for the KABC News Blitz wherever you get your podcasts, hit follow, hit subscribe. We would appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Every day we're here 5 to 6. It's the News Blitz with Randy Wang on KABC.